What you're about to see is a real-life story, taken from the files of the police racket and bunco squads, business protective associations, and similar sources all over the country. It is intended to expose the confidence game, the carefully worked-out frauds by which confidence men take more money each year from the American public than all the bank robbers and thugs with their violence.
Captain Braddock. Captain Braddock. Ready.
Working with the racket squad, I've tangled with all kinds of phonies, all kinds of bunco games. But this gag was something special. I call it the case of the Miracle Mud. It all started a short time ago, quite by chance, in a little suburban community about 20 minutes' ride from our city. A busy little town called Fairview, with about 20,000 pretty loyal citizens. It was just the kind of a town Jim Edwards was looking for, the kind of a place he wanted to settle in. That's what he told Mary Higgins, Fairview's leading and practically only real estate broker.
I'm sure you're going to like Fairview, Mr. Edwards.
I think Fairview's fine, Miss Higgins.
We think so, too.
Of course, I could go back home, but Nebraska gets mighty cold in the winter. The climate's not too good for a leg like mine.
Oh, I'm sorry.
It's arthritis. Funny kind of thing to collect in a war. The doctor says I've got to learn to live with it.
I'm sure it will improve, Mr. Edwards. Tell me, what kind of a place were you looking for?
It should have some trees, and maybe a little stream nearby. Something like Nebraska. It's got to be pretty cheap.
I'm sure we can find something for you. Let's get started looking right now.
All right.
Well, that was Jim Edwards, and that's how he met Mary Higgins. Mary was immediately sympathetic to this troubled young man. She'd find him a nice place to live, and that was a promise.
Well, I think I've showed you about everything, Mr. Edwards.
I hate to be such a tough customer. It's just that I know exactly what I want.
I don't think we're going to find Nebraska in Fairview.
Maybe something out a ways. Something with trees around it. Maybe a little stream nearby.
Water and trees. Would you mind a little mud and swamp thrown in?
Well,
I don't think you'll like it. But it's only a few minutes from here. Come on, let's take a look. Hop in. Well, there it is. Not much to look at, is it? It was old man Horton's place. He died several years ago, and the bank owns it now.
looks all right.
All right.
Those trees over there and that stream.
What about the mud and swamp over there?
I don't have to go over there, do I? Let's take a look at the house.
All right, let's go.
Kind of beat, isn't it?
It sure is.
How much would I have to pay for it?
You're not serious.
I sure am. Some paint, a little nails, and some elbow grease will fix this place up fine. If I can ever get this old leg of mine working again, there's some acres on the south side where I can do some planting.
Do you really think you want this place?
Sure, if the price is right.
The bank has been trying to unload this mud pot for years. Offer them half of what they ask and they'll grab it.
Okay, let's start offering.
Well, Jim Edwards bought that broken-down house and paid $1,750 for it. $1,750 in the cold coin of the realm.
Now, I suppose you want a little money.
Jim thought he made the best buy of his life. Mary wasn't quite so sure. Jim was more than an ordinary client now. And Mr. Robinson? Yes, Mr. Robinson was delighted to cross a liability off the books.
Well, now that just about does it.
How soon can I move in, Mr. Robinson?
Well, since the escrow is in order and the house is empty, I think just as soon as you'd care to.
That'll be this afternoon. Where can I get a taxi?
I'll be your taxi.
Well, I wouldn't want to trouble you.
No trouble. Just call it a Mary Higgins company service.
Thanks, Mr. Robinson.
Thank you.
Inside of a week, he had the house looking pretty good. Everybody in town might have thought that Jim bought a lemon. But they liked Jim, and they wanted to be helpful.
I got you no roof here.
Thanks, Ed. I thought you didn't have it in stock. How did you get it so fast?
What's 40 or 50 miles between friends?
How much?
Oh, no hurry, Jim. You can pay me when I bring that pipe out.
Oh, now, Ed.
Now, look, I'll be around Sunday and give you a hand. So long.
Thanks, Ed.
Jim, come in a minute. Well, how do you like them?
Swell.
I finally found a reason to be glad Mother taught me how to use the sewing machine.
I sure appreciate all the help you're giving me.
Well, I guess I want the place to look nice because I feel so guilty.
Guilty? Why?
Oh, you know, selling you a pig in the poke. But now, I don't know if I did.
I think you did fine.
About these curtains.
6 weeks passed, and by now Jim knew everybody, and everybody knew Jim. The climate, or whatever Fairview had to offer, was doing things for Jim's health. He walked straighter now. His limp was noticeably better.
Jim! Jim!
Right here, Mary.
What are you doing in there?
Sort of taking a bath, I guess.
I don't always understand everything I see.
I know it'll sound kind of funny, but a few weeks ago I was walking around back here and I found this hot spring. Well, I guess I've tried everything else for my legs, so I figured I'd try that too.
I see.
The first time I dunked myself, I thought I felt a little better, a little less pain.
Do you really think the mud had something to do with it?
Well, I wasn't sure about it then, so I came here almost every day, about a half hour each time. Got to be a regular habit. I thought it was a crazy thing to do. That's why I didn't tell you about it before. But whatever's in that mud has done wonders for me.
It's hardly believable.
I know. Look, 2 months ago, I couldn't raise this leg an inch. Now look, you know something? I think I'm going to be able to work those 3 acres out on the south side myself.
Oh, Jim, that's wonderful.
Come on.
It's just unbelievable, Ed, but he gets along wonderfully now.
That old mud? Oh, Mary.
Believe what you want, Ed, but it's true.
Go on.
All right, I will.
There must be something to it, Mr. Platt. He actually wallers around in that mud twice a day.
So I understand.
Still babbling about the mud, Ed?
You wouldn't believe in anything.
I'm in the insurance business, Ed. I believe in facts and figures.
Well, there must be something to it. Edwards couldn't hardly walk when he came to town. Now look at it.
That's exactly what I've been saying. Why, that goo is better than medicine.
My wife got Edwards' permission to try it. She's been over there the last couple of days. She says it helps her rheumatism.
And she's not the only one. Mrs. Billings is trying it, too.
Might be something. You can't tell. So your mother-in-law is ailing, Ed. Why don't you send her out there?
That old battle axe, the only way to do her any good is if she went into it head first.
Good.
Jim Edwards' discovery got around town pretty fast. And it wasn't long before there was an article in the town paper. And then it really started.
Hi, Mary.
Hello, Joe. I just got a call from a Mr. Harrington. What room is he in?
The room is 306, 307, and 308. That guy would have taken the whole floor.
Who is he?
Oh, I don't know, but he sure got nothing but money.
Maybe he'd like to trade it in on a little real estate.
Sister, that guy could buy up the whole town.
Maybe I'll sell it to him. Mr. Harrington sent for me. I'm Mary Higgins.
Oh, yes. This way, please.
Yes. Wire and tell them what I said. I'll check with you on this new project tomorrow. Right. Bye.
Mr. Harrington, this is Miss Higgins.
Of the Higgins Real Estate Office, the leading realtor in town.
Oh, yes, and practically the only one in town. Did you arrange for the limousine, Peters?
Oh, yes, sir. It's out front now.
Good. I think you can help us, Miss Higgins. I'd like to look at the Williams property.
Williams?
The man that owns the swampland, where you people have been going for mud baths.
Oh, you mean Jim Edwards?
Oh, yes. Edwards, that's it. Yes, I'd like to examine it and possibly purchase it.
Well, I don't think it's for sale.
Money talks, young lady. If there's enough profit for this young gentleman, he'll sell. Got the sample jars, Peters?
Oh, yes, everything is ready, sir.
Can you spare the time to go out with us?
I suppose so.
Oh, but, Mr. Harrington, those calls from New York, we're expecting them any minute now.
Oh, they'll have to wait. This is more important.
Oh, yes, sir.
Well, it seemed that the mud out of Jim's place was getting a lot of publicity. And not only in Fairview. Big business was interested now.
Yes, young man, this may be an important day for you.
I'm sorry, Mr. Harrington. I still don't understand.
If those samples contain the elements of therapeutic value we think they do, you're going to make some money.
I don't know about selling the place. I like it here. I've made it my home.
I know how you feel. But if we build a health resort here, a national spa, it'll help not only you and those in your community, but ailing people all over the world. Well, Peters?
I have everything necessary, Mr. Harrington.
Good. We'll fly them to the main office this afternoon. The report should begin in the morning. May I run you back, Miss Higgins?
No, thank you. Jim will take me.
Very well. You'll be hearing from me.
All right. Goodbye.
Goodbye, Miss Higgins.
Jim, what do you think?
I don't know. It's all so sudden. It sure would be a windfall.
When they start making the offers, you let them talk to me. I handle the real estate around here.
Okay, you're the boss.
What's it all about, Harry? I broke up a bridge game because of you. The old lady's plenty sore.
Hold your horses, Charlie. This is more important than 1,000 bridge games.
Just got your call, Harry. What's on your mind?
I can't get anything out of him. What's all the secrecy?
It's this Edwards property.
Oh, that mud again.
Don't be so smart. This is the most important thing that ever hit Fairview.
What makes you think that?
There's a Mr. Harrington in town. He's vice president of the National Corporation. I heard he's one of the biggest health resort operators in the country.
What are you talking about?
If anybody's going to build a health resort around here, why shouldn't it be us? If we boys get together, we can buy the property and finance the building ourselves.
Oh, maybe we could.
Why should anybody else get the profits? Why can't it be a community proposition where we all share?
Well, count me in, Harry. Billy's been laying in that mud for a week now for a rheumatism. We might as well keep it in the family.
Okay. But first, I want to make sure of the report on the sample analysis before we make any bids on the property.
Well, if I know these fellas, they're not going to let loose of that information.
Don't worry about that. 2 minutes after the report comes in, I'll know about it.
I got a telegram from Mr. Harrington. Can you tell me what room he's in?
I'll deliver it.
Now, wait a minute. I'm supposed to deliver it myself.
I'm the clerk here, and I deliver all messages. Hello, Mr. Robinson? Yeah, it just came in. I'll read it to you. Here it is. Specimens Fairview deal show tremendous possibilities. Contents superior to Georgia Spa and Hot Springs developments. Suggest immediate purchase of property. It's signed Martin O. Moss, President.
Well, thanks, Joe. Thanks a lot. I'll call the boys now. So long.
There you are. Sign right here.
Hello, Mr. Jim. I've been looking all over for you.
How do you do, Miss Higgins? Right here, Mr. Edwards.
But
It's all right, Mary. Mr. Harrington has made me an offer and I've accepted it.
I thought I was going to handle the business.
But you couldn't do any better. $10,000 for some land that I bought less than a month ago for $2,000.
But Mr. Robinson and some of the men in town would like to make an offer, too. They think that if there's to be a resort here, they should be the ones to build it.
I can appreciate their intentions, Miss Higgins, but building resorts is our business. We've got 17 of the finest health institutions in the country. We'll build something here that the town and Mr. Edwards can be proud of.
We have this happen in almost every community we've negotiated, but it isn't every community that can raise $150,000 for medical and building facilities.
I advise you to sign it, young fellow. Personally, I'd like to get to work on this project immediately.
Please, Jem, think it over.
I know what I'm doing.
Why is it in every town we go into, you find a dame?
Why not? It makes the work more enjoyable.
Yes, and it makes trouble. Every time.
Why don't you try minding your own business for a while, Harrington?
It is my business. One of these days, we're going to get knocked off just because of you.
You got no kicks coming. I stood the town on its ear, didn't I? The next time you take the mud bath's bright eyes, I've been living so long it's liable to become permanent.
Shh. All right, relax. Check outside, Peters.
You're right. It was that dame out there. She was listening. She probably heard everything.
Better check on it, Jim.
Get me the police. Hurry.
Hey, Jim!
Hi, Ed. I'm in a hurry.
Hey, what goes at the hotel? Did you sell the property yet?
Yeah, all sold. I'll see you later, Ed.
But I'm positive. I was standing right by the door and I heard it. Every word. Well, I'll find out what I can, but I'm sorry, Mrs. Richards. The house isn't available to be shown yet. Yes, I'll get you the keys the first of the week. Thank you. Goodbye.
Who are you calling, honey?
Just a client, Mrs. Richards.
Mrs. Richards? Well, I don't know any Mrs. Richards. I thought I knew everybody in town.
Well, that's just it. She's just moving in.
You call anybody else?
No, why?
I don't know. Suppose we talk about it, huh?
I'm sorry, but I'm busy now.
Just a minute. I said let's talk about it.
All right, let's.
Fairview Sheriff had finally gotten to me, and I told him not to do anything to scare off our pigeons until I could get out there. Meanwhile, Harrington's money bags had gotten to him, and a meeting was underway at the hotel.
As chairman of the community committee, I feel that you have no right to the property.
We should be the one that build.
Fairview's dollars belong in Fairview's pockets.
Gentlemen, please. I can understand how you feel, and I think we can work something out.
But you can't, Mr. Harrington. Mr. Anderson would be furious.
I'm a partner of Anderson's, and I make company policy, too. That'll be all, Peters. I'll tell you what I'll do, gentlemen. I think I can maintain the policy of the company and satisfy you as well. Now, we planned to duplicate our hot springs project here at a cost of approximately $150,000. If you gentlemen can raise $50,000, which is equal to 1/3 of the stock, you have a deal. What do you say?
You've got a deal.
It'll have to be in cash, Mr. Robinson. Anderson's a tough man to handle.
Don't worry. We'll have a certified check for $50,000.
Good. Now, our plane leaves in 2 hours. I'll have the necessary papers drawn up, and I'll take that check to New York with me.
Fine. All right, boys, let's get on to the bank.
$50,000. Not bad.
You could have gotten 100.
You're always squawking, aren't you? Well, did she hear?
Yeah.
Did you get to her before she called anybody?
I don't know. I'm not sure.
Well, I've got a little news for you. I've called the police. They should be here any minute now.
You're smarter than that, Mary. You didn't call the police. You'd hardly tip us off. She hasn't talked to anyone.
We can't take any chances. We gotta get out of here.
The boys are putting up $50,000. Is it worth a gamble?
I'll take the odds. Come on in here.
Exactly 2 hours later, Robinson and his pals had the money and were hurrying to deliver it.
That's probably them. See that everything's all right in there. Mr. Robinson, gentlemen, we're just ready to leave. We haven't got much time to catch that plane.
$50,000 is a lot of money to raise.
You've got it?
Right here. Certified check for $50,000. Negotiable in any bank in the country.
Mr. Robinson!
I assure you, gentlemen, our project will have better construction than this hotel. Well, I think everything's in order now.
There won't be any trouble with that president of yours, Walter.
Oh, no. You just leave that to me. Here's your receipt and the complete data of our conversation this afternoon. I think I've covered every detail of our discussion.
Well, I believe so. Of course, we'll have to enter into a regulation legal agreement later on.
Oh, certainly. Well, if we're going to make that plane, we'd better be starting. Goodbye, gentlemen.
Good day.
I'll be back first thing Monday morning.
I'll be seeing you at the bank.
Of course.
So long.
Good day, gentlemen.
Goodbye.
Peters, Jim? Everything packed?
Everything's all set, but what about the dame? We'll be across the border before they find her.
Come on, let's get going.
Going someplace, Mr. Harrington?
Who are you?
I'm Captain Braddock from the Racket Squad. The city DA would like to have a talk with you boys.
About what? We're respectable businessmen.
Sure. Respectable businessmen with a private plane chartered right into Mexico City. All right, take them away, then. It's the end of the line, Buster. Add this to your collection, Ben. I take it you're Miss Higgins.
I'm sure glad to see you.
The department has a lot to thank you for, Miss Higgins. If it hadn't been for your phone call, those boys would have been working their mud racket in another town before the week was out. Well, alias Edwards, alias Harrington, alias Peters had a good racket. Pretty profitable while it lasted. But with these particular boys, the racket will be dead for 10 years. That is, with time off for good behavior. Believe it or not, many good citizens fall for this racket. And remember, rackets don't always happen to the other guy. So keep your eyes open, friends. It could happen to you. Well, I hope I've been able to give you some idea of how the con man operates in actual cases. The fact is, you'll find con men almost any place. From the scrubbiest parts of town all the way up to the playgrounds of the social set. And in each case, they manage to fit right into the background they're working against. And when you tell a sucker that he's been swindled, most of the time he won't even believe it. But finally, when the truth does sink in, he says, but how was I to know he didn't look like a con man? Well, they never do. Or they wouldn't be in the business very long. Now, can you tell a con man when you see one? Is there any way? No, because he looks just like anybody else. The con man uses only what nature gave him. His brain, charm, an ingratiating manner, and an understanding of human nature that would do justice to a professor of psychology, believe me. Let's face the facts. No one's going to give you something for nothing. Investigate before you invest. Don't be a sucker for these criminals who are so confident they can fool anyone, even you. See Racket Squad next week, same time, same station.